All right, welcome back. This is, I think, episode 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're in a special location. We're in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Kevin is going to become the second Ironman in the family. He's doing that race on Sunday, and we got here Thursday night, so today's Friday. We got Kevin checked in. He had to go to some talks to learn about rules and regulations. And we're here with Madison, who is Kevin's significant other, and then my wife Cindy, that you know, Dr. Cindy.
We got Dr. Cindy back on. Everyone always wants her on here, but
so we were thinking. Well,
go ahead.
Well, I think we were thinking about what we should do this time, and we were talking about really getting real. When we came here, we were going to talk a little bit about motivation, because when you go to that environment over there, where the Ironman Village is, it's very exciting, a lot of energy. It's like, I wish I would have trained to do the Ironman now, because I'm sad I'm not doing it, and Kevin's doing it. But it's one of those things, how do you translate being motivated like we are now, and then how do you bring that home and bring that into your life every day, that you can stay motivated to do something,
And it doesn't always have to be an Ironman.
No,
I know. It can
but
just be little things, because there's an elite group of people that can really put in the amount of time and effort and motivation necessary to complete a full Ironman, or even a half Ironman, or any triathlon.
Yeah, but I thought just the difference too, like just talking about motivation and discipline, but just kind of getting started. It's much easier, like once you're here, it's kind of reinforcing. There's a lot of other people doing it, and it feels good that all your training. But how do you actually get started with something new when it's uncomfortable? And
continue doing it. Where do you find the motivation to keep doing it?
Yeah, and we're just gonna maybe just talk a lot about this. Is our first time in Chattanooga, right? Or have you guys been here before?
I've never been to Chattanooga.
Yeah, neither.
So starting off, so we drove here from Ohio, so it's about an 8.5 hour drive with traffic. Pretty easy drive.
Yeah, a couple traffic jams, not many.
What were our first impressions of Chattanooga?
Beautiful. I mean, it's the rolling hills. When we first got to Chattanooga, it was the sun. It was getting almost sunset, and the sun was going down over the mountains. That's what I saw when I was driving. So I thought it was beautiful, just like in Asheville.
It made me nervous because it was hilly, and I thought, oh my gosh, Kevin's going to be riding his bike really fast up and down these hills. Oh.
Then I love the mountains. Yeah, it reminds me of Gatlinburg and stuff.
What'd you think, Madison?
It's cute.
It's cute. Madison, when you first saw it, it kind of like gave college town vibes. And then
I called that part.
You did that.
Good. Mm-hmm. Because we're definitely staying in a college area, they said. We're like a mile from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm. We were at dinner last night. We were talking to the server, and she was telling us that their University of Tennessee, the Chattanooga satellite campus, is here. So
but the owner of that restaurant was the guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
That was cool.
What's his?
Norman Reedus. It was called Nick and Norman, so it's Norman Reedus, and then the guy.
One of the guys does special effects.
Special effects.
Partial owner, I think.
It's like a chain. They've got ones here and then
Kentucky and Florida.
And totally cool vibes. There's so many cool restaurants and lights outside and patios and
tons of places to eat outside.
It's pretty trendy.
Upscale.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to get into it, what do you guys think too on getting started on new things? What do you think the biggest hurdle is, like for you when trying to start a new activity or habit or diet? What do you think the hardest part is?
Going to wherever you need to do it. Like if you want to start running, like even just like going to the gym for a treadmill or just going somewhere, because it's nerve-wracking. Like I don't like to work out in front of people, so I would never run outside because I don't want people driving their cars or walking past me. And then, so at my gym we have a movie room and it's dark there. So when I started running in treadmills, like that's where I went, so nobody could see me.
Yeah.
And I think as a young woman, it's even more difficult because no matter what, it was the same when I used to go to 21st Century Health Spa when I was in my mid-20s. Certain times of the day, you got, unfortunately, guys wolf whistling and looking at you, and you don't want to be. You want to work out.
They'll come up to you.
And I think they're even aggressive now.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't really come up to us; they would just make noises.
No, they'll just come up and tell me to take out my headphone.
And that's aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Ew.
One guy chased me out of the gym, and then I had to report him. And they were like, again, it was this guy kept having issues, so he got kicked out of the gym.
What about running outside? So
I don't want people to see me.
Alright, so why don't you want people to see you? You're scared they'll judge you, or?
Not that I'm scared that they're gonna judge me. I just feel like, do you remember that episode of Friends when Phoebe? No, I just like, what if I look dumb? Like, have you seen that episode with Phoebe when she's running and she runs really stupid? Or somebody's like, wow, that girl doesn't know how to run.
But who cares if
I care.
at least you're running.
But then you value their opinion, so they can only value if you value someone else's opinion.
I know, but
you
then,
don't even know those people.
But then what if I'm running and then within 20 seconds I'm winded, I need to walk? People are going to be like, wow, out of shape.
But then they're controlling your
know
life.
how
They're
you
controlling
But
feel.
you're only so that's what I think's a good
It's a good
conversation
point for the age.
Well, no, it's a good conversation point. Is that is the hardest part to overcome? Is at first when you're a beginner at something, you're not going to be as good as someone who does it all the time. But you have to start there at one point. If you don't start now, in 5 years, if you never started, if you went out and did it, you're not going to be good. If you start now and just do it here and there over time, eventually you'll no longer be like that.
No, I know.
You'll be
But
experienced.
it's also exactly what your two sisters feel like. They both feel judged at the gym. They're highly intimidated by going to a gym.
But Julie's been going to the gym, and now that
Yeah.
she's stronger, she posts some videos of her doing her workouts and how she
Yes.
can do.
Because now she feels comfortable around
Like,
other
she knows what
people
she's
that-
doing.
She
Yeah.
knows what she's doing. She's learned through trial and error by herself.
So it sounds like for most people, it's probably getting over that initial
Fear.
intimidation, and you have to feel uncomfortable at first and get through that uncomfortableness till it becomes comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I think a feeling of uncomfortableness, no matter how uncomfortable it is, it's a sign of growth,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Yeah, that's what we say when you leave you're leaving your comfort zone or growing when you are scared to do something or you feel uncomfortable doing it.
And every time afterwards, you feel better, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the
Yeah,
one-
and I think when people especially like races, like if you say a 5K is daunting to you, but it's going like we were here at this Ironman, it's going to the 5K, doing the race, getting your energy, it resets your goals. Like this is why I'm doing it. I love being out here, all this energy. Then you got to go back, take it home, go through the uncomfortableness doing it, but then you go to your next event. So you have to set goals, like periodic
Yeah.
times
And
where
remind
you get
yourself that
re-energized.
you're out there doing it. I used to do this when I was slow, running 5Ks or 10Ks, is that I'm out here doing it while somebody else is laying at home on the couch watching cartoons or something. You know, I was
Yeah, but something's better. That's the key. Something's better than nothing. Turn into something that you do, and if you enjoy doing one thing more than another, if you enjoy going to the gym more, find something that fits into a healthy lifestyle that you enjoy doing. You're much more likely to do it. Then you can add in some other stuff. It's not as hard to go. That's why a lot of people, they might be a runner or a swimmer, and then they find their way to triathlon. They already feel comfortable in one of the disciplines, so it's not as much of a leap to go to something else.
And what about so it sounds like for men it's different. For women, I think maybe when men go to the gym, they're worried about if somebody's really buffed and they lift 1,000 pounds and I can only lift 50 pounds, you're embarrassed.
yeah.
So I don't want to lift weights because I can't even do what they do. But it's much worse for a woman, it sounds like, because you think men are staring at you. So
And
do they-
You don't
do they-
think
No,
they are.
okay, I know.
They
So
are.
do they have all women's gyms where you don't have to worry
No,
about that
because
stuff?
we used to. We're in Toledo we used to, and it even
Or
had a
rooms,
daycare.
Rooms.
What was it called? Lifetime
surprised
Fitness.
you
Yeah, or that was for women only.
Yeah, it was women only, and they had a daycare. My aunt used to go, and she'd be able to take her 2 daughters there, so she
Well, that
could
sounds
work
like
out.
something they should have. Actually,
I've talked. Remember I talked to you about starting an all-girl gym or
Yeah.
a gym where you can get certain towels and like there's color-coded, like leave me alone or help me if I'm doing it wrong. Just something because yeah, it is weird because people will come up to you and it's just uncomfortable and men are there, but it's
What about
really
even
gross.
that one gym, LA Fitness, had a room that was
Yeah, we have a
women
girls' room, so I'll go to that one
Yeah,
workout
so
or the
there you
movie
go.
room for
Yeah.
the start.
which is
Yeah.
sad, but I mean, that's
But
what
the
you
girls'
that's
room
what you gotta
only
do.
has one treadmill, one
Yeah.
elliptical, one.
No.
They only have a few machines. They don't have many like free weights,
Yeah,
and
you
it's
don't
very
have as
small.
much
You can't
stuff.
lay out
Well,
a yoga mat and do
That's
stuff.
probably why a lot of people like to work out at home. I imagine too,
But
because
it
no
would
one's
be-
bothering them.
It would be better
Yeah.
to work out in a gym because at home
Yeah.
there's always distractions.
Yeah.
Well, that and you don't have the equipment. People can't afford to buy all those free weights and
Well,
whatever else.
The issue is too is the biggest thing I think starting with anything new is at the beginning when it is the most uncomfortable. If you can do it with a good friend or someone you know, that's way easier to go because you have each other and you don't have to worry about
But your
stuff.
schedules don't always match.
Yeah, so you have to do your best because the more you can be involved with the community or other stuff or accountability partner or just someone that you can do it with, it makes it easier to get over that initial hump where you don't have as much experience.
Yeah.
Because it's all about getting that experience and repetitions and putting time in. The more you do, the more you'll be.
Well, even just
Right.
walking into a new gym is incredibly intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the unknown and the unfamiliarity.
But don't you think when you've gone to the gyms, like when I first go in the gyms, I don't go to gyms anymore, but I used to. is like you doing a new machine that you don't know and you think you're going to look stupid because I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
But once you get comfortable doing something, then you don't care. You walk in, you do it. You don't care what anybody else thinks because you know
what you're doing.
So it's just that.
It's just
again,
getting
that
over
period
that
of
and finding the time, and then initially it tires you out, and then but you've got to get over that hump so that it energizes you rather than tiring you.
And I don't think that no matter what even goes away. Even as someone who's very accomplished, a neurosurgeon or a forensic pathologist, you still can feel that way. So I don't think it ever goes away that when you looking dumb, that's always a fear in people's eyes. And so I think that the key there is doing stuff as much as you can where you're like pushing outside your comfort zone or doing new things, because you're gonna always know that feeling when you start something new. But the more you do it, the more you know that once you get past that, good things come from it.
Well, and that's what I tell Christy, my daughters, is that, everybody feels that way. You think you're the only one in the world that feels that way, but everybody in that whole room probably feels the same way as you do, which should be comforting a little bit, right? That people that you're not the only one feeling this, and so I think that helps just to remember that everyone's not staring at you. I know when my girls go out, they think everyone's just staring at them and nobody else. And they're really not. Most people aren't paying attention. You think they are, but they're not. It's because we're so focused on ourselves, worried about ourselves, and we're so, what's the word I'm looking for when you're focused on yourself? Absorbed or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm just
conceited.
saying.
Well, it's
not conceited, but
it's
people
the
are focused
idea
on
that like everything revolves around you.
sometimes.
Well, the issue is in life is that you're at the center of every experience you've ever experienced.
Right.
But here's the thing though about being a girl, because I get what you're saying and I agree that like not everyone's always looking at you, but I've like had something happen. I was in a store shopping and I dropped my phone and a guy came. I didn't even see him from across the store and was like, "Oh, did you break it?" Like, so then I'm like, "I didn't even see you. You were watching me," and that's happened to like a lot of girls. It happens to girls just anywhere. Like at the store, people do that. So that's why girls have it in their head that like people are watching us.
Well, and also,
but that's in a different way now.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's just
talking about a
girls.
sexual
I think
way.
guys.
Well, yeah, but you can't go to the. That's why it's in our head because
That's-
people
you
have caught
can't
us
go
doing
out.
stuff. Yeah.
You cannot go out. Like,
And
we
think that
went-
people aren't
we
watching
went
me.
Well,
walking-
then I don't know.
We-
That's the bad thing. You almost have to down dress them when you go work out, but that's not fair to you guys not be able to wear what you want. But I mean,
But it doesn't matter if you wear a bag.
if they don't have women's
You
only
could wear a
places,
bag.
When that's when that guy chased me out of the gym. I ran out of the gym. I was scared, and I called them, and then they were coming tomorrow, and they saw me because they see me all the time. I wear like oversized sweatshirt or oversized T-shirt, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
Was that girl? What's her name? Was that Billie Eilish? Was she the one that wore all
Yes.
these saggy clothes because she thought men were?
So don't
Yeah.
see my
They were
body.
sexualized.
Yeah.
But one time it was really foggy, and we went walking the dogs at like 10 o'clock to Wildwood, which is a local park, and it was super foggy and there was hardly nobody there. And I said to him, I would never be able to go to the park by myself like this because I'd be scared of someone attacking me.
Mhm.
I'm not young anymore, and I still live with that fear because we women have to live with the fear or uncomfortableness, because it's all in the same thing, of men staring at us or
So how do you
being
get
aggressive.
And
How do you
girls
get-
are judgmental.
how do you get past that?
Right.
Is there strength?
Yeah, how
is
will
there
you
strength
get
in
past
numbers? If you could get say you got
How you
20
never
women.
work out?
If you got 20 women to come out for a walk, say every Saturday morning at Wildwood or
Having
a
a
park,
partner.
would that? But not just one partner. It's much less
A
likely
group?
that someone's going to come out. Like if you have a group of 20 people,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
maybe creating communities or
It's hard to
groups.
create a community.
I don't go walking around in the park by myself. I don't go to
But
Wild
could
alone.
could you do it if you met every Saturday at 9 a.m. with a group of people? Would
Yeah,
that
well,
be
that's
good?
why I wait to work out with Kat. Like,
Yeah,
even
so
though
I'm
I
saying
can
so
go
maybe
earlier, I
the
wait.
big, so especially as a female, the biggest thing is trying to find other people
Create
and
safety.
push your, and maybe that's the first step.
Well, it
Going
is
outside
easier.
your comfort zone to ask someone to come work out with you, or hey, do you want to try this new thing? Maybe you have to get groups together where maybe you all are interested in different things. But say you get 5 people together, guys and girls, and you rotate around of what new thing you're going to try out as a group. Maybe that's a solution, Pat. Because
No,
obviously
the only
doing
solution
stuff
is
like-
just having a friend. Because, like, if me and Kat went to the gym and we were trying a machine, we didn't know what we were doing.
You'd
If somebody
laugh.
came up to us and they were like, "Oh, you guys are doing it wrong," we'd have a great laugh about it and we'd make fun of ourselves for the next 2 weeks.
And I think,
yeah.
so Kevin and I obviously have a different perspective because we're, not women, but we would love to hear your comments about what you guys do. Like anybody out there who has the same problem, how do you overcome it? Do you have groups? What do you do so you can actually go work out and get healthy? Because you have that right and privilege to do that. So why should you be stopped from doing that? So how do you get around it? You
And
get-
like if you want to
good
create a new
feedback for us.
weightlifting routine or a new routine that uses machines, Most of those gyms do. They will go around with you and show you a routine
Yeah.
or create
Yeah.
one even for free.
Yeah.
But how do how do you get started? That is a good point. And I can say that it takes initiative and courage, but then comes the motivation and the perseverance. And I've struggled with that lately.
And that's a whole separate thing.
Which usually seems like it's the first, like you can do. I always find, say you stop working out and then you have to start up. It's always that first week or two that's harsh. Once you make it a couple weeks, don't you think? You get into some kind of routine, and then eventually, after a month or so, you look forward to doing it.
Yeah.
But you could never envision that when you're starting on day one. It's like, God, I can't.
You have
feels like a
million
lot more
excuses.
Yeah.
We have a lot more. It takes a lot more effort to get started on the times you don't want to do it than once you're in the flow. Like, because you're just doing it. You have say you work out every day after work, or you do something every day after work.
And what's wrong with, like, when I used to run, I did not have a problem with, like, if I wanted to run a 5K, I'd go out, and it didn't bother me that I could only run a half mile. I'd walk then, and then I'd run, and then I'd walk. And I hurt always really bad in the beginning. I'd get shin splints, and I'd get the stomach stitches, and, and then I was running a 5K in a couple weeks. Big deal,
Because now, comparison to others and comparison to your past self. As you get older, you have to readjust your expectations. You're not going to run a 5K like you did. Even if you didn't train at all, you could probably run a 5K when you were 25 faster than when you're 55.
Right.
And you train all the time.
Well, and even your dad who runs, and when he first goes out, he has to step back.
So you have to meet yourself where you are at, not where anyone else you see on social media is at, not where.
Because they're not usually real. Right?
Yeah.
We've learned that.
But also, different people all have different circumstances. Someone who's not, like, maybe you're a new parent and you can't go do certain things. All your effort spent towards other things. You can't put yourself to the person with no responsibilities who's like a college athlete who spends all their time training.
Yeah.
There's always different levels.
And you have to find ways of working out where it incorporates the baby so that whatever.
Yeah,
which is still hard.
Oh yeah, that's just not gonna happen.
Even just putting the baby,
but
like a
some
baby.
people make it happen.
But just try to fit it into your lifestyle. So
Walk
say
with
you're
the
taking
baby.
call, they can even take a call. Walk with the baby in a stroller or like in a
front sack.
There's always ways to incorporate healthy stuff.
Well, when they're little enough, you can do yoga with them.
Yeah.
They're like your own little weight. Have you?
Yeah.
I almost did yoga. Mommy and me yoga with squirrel once.
Oh, that was cute.
With my niece.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so there's lots of different ways. I think it's usually more like with everyone, it's easier to kind of come up with excuses. But if you really were dead set determined to do something, you can find ways to incorporate.
And I think you need to start slowly. I mean, to try to jump in and do everything, you can't. But that's how I used to do it.
But you just said how I used to do it. You can't compare it to your past self.
Right.
You have to compare to understand where you are right now. And doing something is infinitely better than doing nothing. And if you do a little bit for a couple months, all of a sudden you're going to be doing way more than at the beginning. And then you'll wonder.
Well, I just mean no matter what. Like if you're like, I'm going to change my lifestyle, you can't cut out all the food you eat now and then tell yourself you're going to work out 5 days a week. Like you can just tell yourself I'm going to cut out these 2 things from now on and make my goal 2 days a week at the gym, and then work your way up.
Just
that
pick a couple
people
things
that
to
are like they
concentrate
try
on.
to do it all at once. You're more likely to give up because it's hard. You can't maintain it, and then you're like, this isn't working.
But I also think you have to set a goal. Like if you just say anything you do, like if you want to run, if you want to start getting healthy, I mean, I think you need to do it because the goal is pick some parameters. Like I want my blood pressure to come down, or I want my blood glucose levels to be lower.
I want to look better in my clothes.
Yeah, because all these things are, I want to lose the gut. All these things are good to do, and you say I'm going to eat healthy and do this. But unless you have a goal, you have to set like an end goal, like a certain amount of weight loss, bring down some of my parameters, or an event. If you set a goal, you're much more likely, I think, to finish on that. And just saying, well, I want to get healthy. Well, what does that mean?
Like
what does healthy mean to you?
Smart, set smart goals. That's always a big word. Like specific, measurable. Attainable or actionable. I can't remember what the R is. And then I think T is time. But you could Google just it's SMART goals. Yeah. But you have to have something that's reaching a little bit, but it's not a crazy reach. Mm-hmm. You actually have, like you said, be specific about it, and then set micro goals too. Once you want to do a 5K in 3 months, find a plan or just do a slow build up towards it. And again, we're talking just about races and lifting and running.
If we're gonna get real, it's a lifestyle change. It's like creating a new lifestyle for yourself that you can live by every day.
But you start gradually.
No, but you can do it with. You don't have to do it with.
Yeah, you're gonna have setbacks. I'm not saying that.
Like there's a million different things you can do. You can go rock climbing. You can do yoga. You can walk. There's all So it's just whatever your activity is. Just I think I think the idea is you have to prioritize so many times when we get busy and do other things. Health is pushed to the wayside, but you really got to prioritize yourself and your health, because long term, what everyone wishes that you can never get back is once you have no health, your health means everything. Once you're older and you say you neglected eating well and doing other things, there's always older people regretting that. They didn't regret, I wish I would have worked harder at this. So I think you have to make it a priority. It's better to do a little bit for decades than it is to do nothing and then do tons of things in spurts.
And we're not advocating all or nothing, because we're like that. We'll do really healthy for weeks or a month or so, and then for 2 weeks we'll eat junky. It's hard to stay on track all the time, but you just want a trend, right? You want a positive trend that you're working toward more healthier. But there's always going to be setbacks. We're on vacation now. We went out to dinner last night. We didn't eat the most healthy, but I mean, it's okay. I mean, as long as
80% rule is
as long as your
Yeah.
trend is going towards healthy lifestyle, I think that's
what I always think about, the 80-20, like Pareto's law. If you can just you're going to get most of your results from the 80%. I mean,
Who's
just
Pareto?
Pareto.
Who is he?
Pareto's law.
Who is he? I don't know who he is. Well, they probably
He's
don't
just
know
the
either.
guy who came up with the 80-20 rule. So
Is he like a health guru or something?
no, it was I think in economics maybe. I'm not
Oh, okay.
positive about that. I can't remember his first name, but it's termed Pareto's law. It's like the 80-20. So 80% of your results will come from 20% of your actions. And like getting 80% of the way there is where you're going to get most of your results, and it applies to tons of different things. Like, so 80% of your sales will usually come from 20% of customers, stuff like that. So
What about, remember the whole food diet book that we read, and he was talking about trying to be at least 90%
I think 80
healthy.
is good.
It's either 80, but then you
Yeah.
allow yourself to have that 10 to 20%
Yeah,
where you're not.
so you don't feel deprived, you don't feel guilty that
Yeah.
you want to have a piece of chocolate, or
Mhm.
you want to,
well, that's the
have a glass
concept
wine.
of cheat days. In a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
like that
diets.
diet the best. We did 6 days healthy, and then one day you just eat whatever you want. I enjoyed that a
Well, the
lot.
theory
Because
behind
you
that,
look forward to it. It gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
and you're rewarding yourself,
Yeah.
and once you start doing that, you're healthy 6 days of the week. Your unhealthy days aren't going to usually be nearly as unhealthy.
And you
You're not
don't,
gonna-
yeah.
So, and some days if you eat the complete crap, then you're not going to feel as good. And then
Well,
it's a
that and
reinforcement.
also though, when you start eating healthy at first, not the best, but then your taste buds readjust.
Yes.
Because now some of my favorite meals are the healthier ones that we've
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
That totally changes too.
And at first you're like, it has no.
Oh yeah.
But no, that's the all or nothing mentality. If I don't hit, it's way easier. If I'm not going to do 100%, say you had a workout plan and you don't feel like doing it, if you're not going to do 100%, then you can convince yourself in your mind that I shouldn't do it at all if I'm not going to do the whole thing.
Right.
But it's better even to just do half of it,
Or
just,
even go for a walk if you
That's
can't
what
do
I
anything
always
else.
Yeah.
So that it's the whole principle of just like if you.
Well, I think
look at
all
the
or
big
nothing
picture.
gives you an out. Like if I can't do it,
Yeah.
and then you just quit.
Well, no, yeah, it's an excuse, and then all of a sudden, just like I think diet's the easiest one. If you don't hit your diet, then all of a sudden, what do? You have one bad. Say you miss one thing. Instead of saying, okay, that's part of the diet technically, or that's fine. The next meal's gonna be healthy again. It's easy to then go, oh, I already blew the diet, so I might as well eat another unhealthy meal. And then those actions, you can compound in the positive, but you can also compound in the negative.
Yep.
So if you let one action lead to the next, to the next, to the next, you have to break that cycle as fast as you can. So, and I think that's where experience and just kind of having like some self-love and for yourself is, but don't beat yourself up. If you miss one thing, say you got a bad grade on one test, don't beat yourself up over that and be fixated on that, because now you're focusing on the negative.
Figure out what you could do better for the next time. What did I do wrong? What did I not study enough? Did I not study the right things? You analyze it, break it down, and try to improve for the next time.
Yeah, reflect. Yes, like you said, see what's going on, and then accept it and move on and try to do better next time.
Before we did this, what I was thinking, because I think still the hardest thing we haven't answered is, so we came here, I'm all fired up again, like this Ironman environment just motivates you to the ninth degree. But then when I get home, you're not in that environment.
You'll
The
come
motivation's
home.
gone. Nobody else around to motivate you. There's no atmosphere. And so how do you get that motivation back? I mean, that's what we're trying to figure out, because I think it's the toughest thing is how do you keep that motivation going that you can do something positive and forward without losing it.
Isn't there in all the books like that books about things? Identify your why. Why,
Yeah,
right? Find a
100%.
why.
So why I always think, why do I like doing events and running and doing these other
Yeah,
things?
why?
My why is I want to be healthy when I'm 8, just as healthy as when I'm 80, to be able to move around and still do stuff. I don't want to be stuck in a nursing home. I want to be able to travel and be mobile. My why is also when I travel, I like to explore new places through exercising. So if I'm in a new city, I can run. I get to see a lot of the city. Also, if you're doing events, it's a way to go see new places. Like Chattanooga, I would never be here if I wasn't doing something. So those are things like I think about, because you have to just have that for yourself. And you have to find too, like, so obviously when he comes here, you and him both being here, he's done a triathlon before. That motivates him, seeing all these other people. He wants to do something again. That's not probably what you're passionate about. So that gets him fired up. You have to find something else that gets you fired. You know, not specifically you, but in the general sense of you. Try different things to see, like, maybe you're really fired up when you are in a different set of community. Like, say you're with all your friends and you guys do a walking club. You guys might look forward to that every.
But you know, when we started wanting to get healthy, remember why we wanted to do it? Because our grandparents weren't around actually, but the ones that were couldn't do anything. And so we wanted to be grandparents. Now we have little Archie that we want to be healthy and active, like Kevin says. So when we go to Disney World, we can walk around with him, and we can do things that are active with him and be active, and not, like Kevin said, you know, having to be in a nursing home, having people take care of us. So that's our goal. I mean, a big goal that we have.
That's our goal, but I have experienced some major setbacks, and then physically, and it has affected my mental and my motivation. Yeah. And I'm starting to feel old, and I'm starting to falter, and I'm starting to feel less motivated, and I'm finding it harder to motivate myself.
Yeah. Well, I think that's why motivation is a good like fuel source. Motivation is just so hit or miss. A lot of times
it's a dopamine hit.
Yeah, motivation feels good and you can get you some quick, but it's not a long-term sustaining source. You need discipline and consistency and community to keep doing something.
And you need to just realize that anything that you do is better than nothing, and you just need to get started.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little bit of a plan, identify your why, and just start doing it. Like, lay your clothes out the night before. Make sure you have everything, and just start doing it, and don't expect perfection.
Yeah. Well, yeah, making it as easy as possible. That's a good point. Say you want to work out in the morning, having all your stuff set right out, and so you can just get up and put your clothes on.
I used to put you guys in your clothes when you were really little, so wear your workout clothes to bed.
No, whatever. I mean, you have
but
to.
I also think too, like how'd you do it? When I did my Ironman, I'm using this example, but obviously anything in life, but I had to schedule things I had to do every day. I mean, you know, if you schedule things out that you have to do,
well, write it in your calendar,
and you do those things, then it's a sense of accomplishment. You know, so at least certain things, you know, make sure you do them that day.
Have a calendar and write out some things on the calendar, because they say if you schedule it, you'll be more likely to do it.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna meal prep, or I'm gonna exercise, or I'm gonna take the kids or dogs for a walk for sure, which we never do, and we always say we're gonna. So
well, it's also I think part of that is because it creates cognitive dissonance if you don't actually do it. So if you write it down in your own calendar, or you tell someone else about it, then if you don't do it, you actually feel like, okay, I didn't do that, or you feel good if you did. If you just keep it in your mind, it's easy to say, like, oh, I never fully committed to that.
Yeah,
so.
And nobody else knows.
Yeah, but writing it down also, like, makes a lot of time off for that. Because then if you don't, then easily someone can be like, oh, do you want to go to dinner Friday night? And you're not even thinking that, oh, I was going to prep all Friday night, and then you go and
But there's also, you have to choose what you want to prioritize in life. If you have to make, the busier you become and the more stuff you're doing, you have to choose what you want to say yes to and what you want to say no to. By doing something where you have to commit to training or other things, you have to get rid of some bad things. You're not necessarily bad, but you have to, sometimes you're not going to be able to go hang out with friends on the weekends, or sometimes you're going to have to miss certain things, but that's where you have to choose your priorities and kind of find balance.
Well, and you know something funny? My own mother used to, like, oh my gosh, you're going to go work out again, or you're playing tennis again, or you know what I looked at it as? I'm doing this now. This is my medicine. This is my pharmacy. Going to play tennis was what made me feel good, so that maybe when I'm her age, I wasn't.
Yeah, I think she's probably jealous that you could do those things.
Could do it, yeah. And I had the means and the desire, but you have to. I looked at it as I'd rather work out than take a pill. I don't want to take pills.
Well, I mean, also even ancient knowledge of food being medicine, like eating whole foods. It's way easier. Prevention is a way more powerful methodology of doing than once you're already down the road and you have issues,
Right.
then trying to use to try
That's
to fit.
how
But it's still
Because we always
That's
treat.
modern
So medicine
medicine.
is all about treating after you have the disease or the problem.
not
We
prevent.
treat it, right, with medications or surgery instead of trying to prevent you from getting the disease, which is what we should be doing.
Because there's no money in prevention.
Right?
exactly.
But-
So that's
but
the
it'll
thing.
change.
Well,
It's gotta change.
that's
It's
the whole
gotta
thing. I think with medicine and supplements and all this, instead of saying like the most powerful things in all the studies is eating whole foods as much as possible and getting some at least exercise every week.
Yeah.
Like getting exercise, not crazy amounts of exercise, but just moderate exercise every week. Even 60 minutes is way better. That has long-term
Health
prevention.
benefits.
Yeah, long-term health benefits are that. There is no fancy way, but everyone would rather just take a
So
pill.
anybody watching, you should go on. My daughter Christy we started watching 2 episodes called Blue Zones,
Oh yeah.
and it's
Oh,
about
yeah.
the 5
Netflix.
zones in the world where there's the most centenarians, where it's people live over 100
Centenarians, yeah.
centenarians that live over 100 years. But it's really interesting. There's all common denominators in all these spots. Even Loma Linda is a spot in America, which you wouldn't believe would be a hot spot for people living over 100. But it's all about, they all have similar diets, lifestyles, community is big, having friends, laughing, things like that. You know, there's
Working
a common
A
denominator.
little bit.
But you ought to watch it. It's really interesting, very informational about living, longer life.
In Okinawa too, you said they don't eat till they're full. They eat till
Right. So in Okinawa, what they do is the kids learn this from a young age. They only eat 80% of their meal and leave 20% of it.
and
And they don't have huge portions either. Yeah, there's 80%.
I don't know. I think that's a
And
good point. You
I
don't
think,
overeat them.
but I think 1% of their diet is meat or fish. 1%. The
We
rest of it is.
probably should clarify Whole Foods not being the grocery store. Because whenever I tell someone I try to eat a whole food diet, they always say, "Oh, that's a really expensive store." People
Oh.
don't know it's like
Oh,
fruits
like
and vegetables
Whole food,
and grains.
Good point,
legumes,
yeah.
uh-huh.
Whole Foods and like plant based. The whole idea behind that is like foods that actually like exist in nature and are
Processed.
haven't been altered nutritionally or anything else. So even taking even blending something down, that's technically reducing. That's still
That's
usually
whole
good.
food, right? Yeah.
No, but that's still you're removing some fiber and stuff.
Well, even they even say
It's still better.
that like a bell pepper, like that is still somewhat processed because it was picked, cleaned off, sent somewhere, and then sent to your grocery store. But like that's as like whole food as you can kind of get. But then
unless
getting
you're-
like pre-cut up peppers, like that's
yeah, but-
processed.
But the more you can get up that chain of the less altered it's
Mhm.
been, and then people go as far as people have their own communities or in co-ops and stuff. So you do but I think you're getting most of the results by just getting fresh produce from the store versus
Well, but
the extra.
the problem is, if you go there, you've seen it. It's so expensive to eat healthy. I mean, it's cheaper to go to McDonald's and eat
But
dinner
it's
than-
not.
No. But I'm saying some people don't have the money to buy the healthy foods.
I agree.
No,
That's
I
the problem
agree to
with
an
it.
extent though. Like think about how much you paid for that salsa we got at the store today.
Yeah.
And when me and Kevin make our salsa at home, the cost to get those tomatoes, that onion, the garlic is so much less than what you paid for the salsa
Oh,
today.
100%.
But
But you get so much
Well, no,
more.
but here-
What's the time you have
But what
to spend?
he's
You got to
saying-
spend
Yeah.
time.
But
making
you know what? That's the community.
Well,
They're
true.
spending time
True.
together.
True.
But
Yeah.
also, I mean, cooking definitely is about if you're cooking with another, that's time spent together, and you're doing something. It's not about being super quick and efficient. It's just about, and all of it. Your health is an investment. Your health has to be an investment. So we will spend all this money on all these other things all the time. People don't bat an eye when they go get beers with their friends and spend $20-$30, but then, and it's like you
Right,
said,
true.
it is all different. You can cook in bulk. That's why some people food prep or cooking in bulk. You can kind of save. There's definitely healthy meals you can make that are
Keeping it simple.
cost effective. But I get what you're saying. It's easy to go get 2,000 calories from McDonald's. It's a lot cheaper than cooking 2,000 calories healthy.
But
Right.
is it nowadays?
Yes.
I don't think so. Because if you were buying a pound of like ground beef and then all those things like feed those mouths, like how? Because like McDonald's doesn't like have that dollar. Do they have a dollar menu still?
You can still get a bunch of
Yeah,
food,
you get a bunch of
but
food.
it's just
I
the
just-
premise.
Some
It's
people
more.
don't
It's
know how to cook.
But also,
it's
but
definitely more
yeah.
expensive to eat.
I
healthier
think
foods.
the biggest thing for a lot of people isn't so much the money anymore because people buy so much today.
Time.
I think it's the time. People don't want to spend time.
I think this
everything.
whole conversation is that once you're sick, then you're motivated, right? So once you get a disease, then you're motivated to get rid of that disease, but it's too late, So somehow you have to motivate yourself to have discipline ahead of time to prevent
Knowledge.
and that means not eating
Knowledge.
fast food all the time and spending the time to cook some healthy meals. I mean, we do a good job pretty much about cooking fairly healthy, but we still do occasional fast food. I mean, because conveniency, I mean, it's convenient, it's time.
Well,
I mean,
but now
or you
it's
don't
just
feel like it.
but
You come home and
eating-
you're tired.
Eating healthy, even multiple days a week is better than
Right.
0 days of the week.
80-20.
Yeah, so if you can just get some of that, sometimes in trying, even if you're eating some unhealthy foods, throwing in snacking on like carrots or bell peppers throughout the day. I mean, they're different things. Or eating some nuts. Like nuts are like almonds and cashews. Those are healthy to eat.
So you guys got out there the 80-20 rule?
Yeah. I always just say start slow. Like if somebody told me I eat fast food for every single meal, I would tell them start cooking 2 meals a week, and then the next week do 3 meals, the next week 4. Like, because you can't do it all at once.
You feel a lot more
You're gonna
nourished.
quit.
Yeah.
I know for sure. If I eat healthier, like when I'm in my peak training, I feel more recovered the next day. Like if you're not eating healthy, like I don't feel as nourished by the food.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, your body doesn't recover as well. And same with sleep. I think sleep. I mean, that's another thing people will cover.
Very important.
Sleep, getting a lot of sleep is crucial.
It helps your body rebuild.
Well, more and more studies are coming out, about the 7, 8, 9 hours that you need, and it's holding true.
Well, yeah,
Sure.
Oh, no, 100%. People are finally understanding this idea of like I'll sleep when I'm dead is not a very good principle to live by. And you can't cut corners. Like sleep just seems like why spend 8 hours sleeping when I can sleep 6 and do other stuff. You just always pay for it. You're much more.
Well, especially your brain at night. Like your brain is when it regenerates itself at night, and there's certain lymphatics in your brain that drain all the toxins out, and that occurs only at night when you're sleeping. So it's really important to get sleep because that's when your body's rejuvenating itself, and it's not a nothing time. Your body's is more active at night almost sometimes during the day, and you don't know it.
What did you? So you and Julie told me about it's whatever released when you're sleeping. The muscle growth hormone is released when you're sleeping. So like people that are trying to build muscle, if they're not getting enough sleep, then they're not having that recovery, and the next day they're really sore, and they'll wonder like, why are my muscles not getting bigger? And it's because they're not sleeping enough. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like human growth hormone.
Yes, that.
Right?
Oh.
Well, no, that's the same thing with training. That's why some people go way too hard, and it's called overtraining syndrome. You're actually just hurting yourself. The more you train, you're actually hurting yourself because you're not getting enough sleep and you've got too much stress in your body. You need a good balance. It's all about rest and recovery. You want to push yourself with a certain amount of like effort and stress, and then you have to recover from it. If you're doing too much or too little, you're not going to get results.
Because your muscles are rebuilding themselves while you're resting. They're breaking down that tissue and rebuilding it. So it doesn't actually happen right during exercising.
Yeah, so you have to, and that's why with people, a lot of people like they ask me about running. You're not sprinting every time you run, and you'd never get, especially longer distance. You're trying to build your endurance. 89% of your time you're spending at low intensities or low to moderate.
Anyways, yeah.
Or that's what all training sports psychologists and physiologists.
Well, because you're building mitochondria, which is the powerhouses of your muscles and for your body, and so those mitochondria are build up the most when you're running slow and doing long runs.
And everybody thought it was glycogen that you were using.
Yeah, because you have to burn.
You are using glycogen.
You are, but you have to learn if you're doing something like an Ironman, so an Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike, and a 26.2 mile run. If you're doing that, your glycogen stores will run out way too fast. You might be out there for anywhere from like 10 to 17
glycogen is
hours.
like the glucose. It's the energy stored in your muscles, and when that glycogen is gone, then you run out. You can run out of energy very quickly.
Yeah, that's the quick energy. That's you're getting from carbs and everything, and that allows you to hit really high intensities. But that's why people who are elite longer distance athletes, their bodies become very efficient at burning fat. Yeah.
It's aerobic versus anaerobic.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little different, but their bodies become good at burning fat. So once your body gets to the point where it can burn fat, then you can run forever. But like in a marathon, when people hit the wall, it's because all their glycogen has gone out of their muscles, so they have no energy. And I went through that with my first marathon, and it feels like you just can't move because my body wasn't trained to burn fat yet.
It's called bonking.
And by the way, most marathoners are quite lean and skinny. So what fat are they burning?
Well, elite marathoners are usually finishing in 2 to 2.5 hours, so they're never gonna run out of their glycogen stores. You start running out of them.
It takes about
3 hours.
3 hours. Yeah.
So people, that's why some elite marathoners will even say like, I applaud the people that take like 5 hours because they're only out there for Kip Joji. I can't. He can run a 2 hour. He's the world record holder. He can run a 2 hour and 1 minute marathon. So compared to someone who's running 4 or 5 hours, you can. It's a huge difference. So, there's so much varying levels to that. We're talking now way too much because
Yeah,
the biggest.
But
the biggest
okay, so you say that. So how is it that a regular person can ever burn fat if it takes 2 hours to burn through your glycogen?
No, that's
something
it's
different?
way too nuanced. We'd have to go into
Yeah.
a very long conversation.
Well, I
And
have
don't-
an interesting thought. So what about, you were a forensic pathologist, you did autopsies on all kinds of people. So you must have had people that were really runners. I mean, you must have known that about them. You learned their history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what was their autopsy different, like a runner? Like, what did
Oh,
you
there
notice?
weren't enough really healthy people to compare to because,
Really?
well, it's sudden violent death most of the time. So, most of the time you have older people, really. Well, I guess you have young.
I was just wondering what you saw. Did you see something different about their bodies?
You never saw people with
I would have
healthier
had to
organs?
perform a specific study. What?
You never saw people with. You can tell by someone's.
Well, you can tell about their fat, like
Like-
their abdominal fat and stuff.
But I never looked at that because that's not what my focus
Oh,
was.
okay.
But you never took anyone's organs and saw their organs, and some people had healthier organs than others.
Well, when somebody's really heavy and really obese, every organ has fat in it,
Right.
and everything weighs more. Their hearts weigh more. That's what obesity does.
But I think
So
it's
that's
I think
right
it's
there.
an interesting conversation for people to hear because it'd be interesting to hear what does an unhealthy person at autopsy look like? You've seen it.
Oh, it's
compared to
hard-
somebody
it's
who's
hard
healthy.
to autopsy the person too.
But what jumps out at your mind
yeah.
the most for everybody? Like what
For
do you?
being the
like-
fat is slippery and it's in every organ and like my first autopsy.
In it?
Yes, just incorporated in the whole tissue. My first autopsy was a 400 or 600 pound woman who was short, so I can't remember what she weighed, but I had a hard time lifting the liver up because A, it was slippery, and B, it was super heavy. It weighed twice as much.
And you're saying it's slippery because it was fatty.
Fatty.
Okay.
So it was slippery.
And the normal healthy organ's not slippery.
So no,
Okay.
I mean it's
All right.
a little bit slick because it's wet and it's liquidy in there and there's blood too. But fat is particularly slippery. Look at a chicken when you're prepping it or the grease or whatnot.
Yeah.
But just trying to because I'd have to pick it up, put it up into a scale that was above my head, and I was young and strong back then. But like, it would weigh twice as much, and then because of that fat, it puts extra strain on the organ. So a heart, which might weigh, I'm thinking of grams, 150 grams, and maybe now it weighs 300 grams. Now you're at risk for any kind of cardiovascular disease because the heart is heavy. Any cardiomegaly is what that's called. That is an instant risk factor for sudden cardiac death.
So cardiomegaly, it just means a big heart.
That's what I said,
Well,
yeah.
So he's explaining it.
Yeah.
But so the thing there is then if you are overweight, you're just creating a lot of extra strain on your
On
organs.
everything. Yeah.
I know. So
Your
that's
joint. Here's a board question for us in med school for arthritis. What's the first line of treatment for arthritis? So you think it's drugs or knee replacement or this or that? It's weight loss. Because even a 5-pound weight loss. But here's what I've learned from personal experience too. It is really hard to lose weight when you can't move because you got arthritis.
Well, then it comes down to diet.
And it's very hard. For me, I find it much harder to diet alone than I find it to diet and exercise together. But I couldn't move. I couldn't do any cardio hardly at all before my knee replacement because I think it's almost like a hormonal thing or something. People who have bad joints, they can't move and they gain weight.
Yeah, definitely.
But it does. Then it gets into the mental health status part of it. You get depressed,
Well, but your guys' generation is much more aware of the stuff that we are.
which
I mean,
is
I
nice.
think the younger generation is much more up on eating healthier, exercising,
But
preventing
why do we have more
diseases.
obesity than ever?
Fast
I don't
food.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so.
Childhood
Think
obesity.
about
I think it's instant gratification. We all got used to that.
Yeah.
Like if a web browser doesn't load right away, we're annoyed. We have 2-day delivery
True.
from Amazon.
Yeah.
We can.
Used
Why
to
would
be
What
I spend?
happened to overnight delivery?
Yeah, but you get that still too. But then like, why would I spend 2 hours cooking a meal when I can just go hang out with my friends and get it?
Right.
Someone else can make it for me.
Because you
And I think
need to
there's
hang
just
out
so
with
many-
your friends who's
yeah.
just
There's so
stressed
much.
out.
I think there's starting to be a trend against it now, but there's so much. Everything's genetically modified.
Oh, I
and
don't like that.
No, all these things have all this, and I think in America it's worse in some ways. Like what they allow in our food and stuff, like all the stuff, it's kind of crazy. Because in other
Yeah.
countries they don't allow all the fake sugars or high fructose corn syrup or.
This book that I'm reading, There, if you have
Why don't you
plastic,
show them? It's called The Better Brain.
It's called The Better Brain by who's it by?
Sponsor us.
incredible. I just saw it.
What's-
It appealed to me with the cauliflower.
Who's it by?
It's written by Bonnie J. Kaplan, PhD, and Julia J. Ruckledge, PhD. They're talking about macronutrients as a way to even fight, some mental diseases.
So you have to tell everyone, like, what's a macronutrient? Because some people don't know what a macronutrient is.
Well, like vitamins and minerals, and just eating
Well,
well, and
that's
getting
what
it from your food.
Macronutrients would be carbs,
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
fat. Well, no.
So I don't
minerals
mean
and
macro.
vitamins are
They
micro.
have a word
They're
here. I
micro.
think it might be multi-nutrient.
Okay.
They're not. They don't just use micro. But what I was going to say is that women who ingested plastics, because there's plastics in our food,
Mhm.
and I can't remember
Well,
the
what about
exact.
drinking water out of a bottle?
Yeah, that women who ingest plastics, and there's a certain specific one. It might be BPA. Their children have tested differently, especially males.
Yeah.
More likely, I think, to have ADD. But I'm not hardly into the book at all yet. But it's actually
Well, that's how I think.
frightening.
Once you start down a little path of like living healthier, so doing positive habits, trying to eliminate negative habits, you start out by just trying to do something, and then you'll slowly find yourself morphing. It'll bleed over into other. You start exercising, you want to eat healthier, and then you'll start looking into foods more, and then you don't learn that overnight. That comes over many years and lots of experience and time, because it becomes more interesting each level. You can go deeper on it.
Well, who would think that eating super, super healthy makes you feel better?
Right?
I mean, who would think? And that's when I was eating super healthy and counting it. I had I do 5 meals a day or 6 meals a day, and it was super clean because I was trying to lose some fat. And if I eat junk, I just feel full and bloated.
And gross.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even start off that way. When I was trying to lose weight 5 years ago, I just started cooking, and I wasn't even trying to do really healthy meals or anything. I was just trying to get myself used to making food.
which
And
is
then
a step.
Yeah, and then each time I just started switching and healthy alternatives, and then now we cook the way we do. And
But
we go
you'll
about it.
naturally lose, if you eat healthy, you naturally lose weight. You just
Yeah, well, I mean, I was losing weight
Right.
by instead of getting a burger at a restaurant, even just making it at home.
That's because
Yeah.
real food fills you up a lot more than.
But it's
Well,
got
right, but I
no
mean, a
preservatives.
burger isn't healthy though, but it's healthier than going out and eating one. But I'm just saying that I started making my stuff at home, even if it wasn't healthy.
No, home cooked burger is 100%.
But what's
healthier than
innate-
I know
Yes.
it is. I'm just saying that a burger in general is not healthy, but eating it at home is healthier. But
But I think too, don't you think you have to you really have to track calories in this Blue Zone thing that we were
Oh,
you
watching?
definitely have to track
And
it.
so they said that on average, I know it varies between women and men, but just say the average American takes in 2,000 or 2,200 calories. That's the average. And
Much more than that, I think.
Really?
they're supposed to take in. That's
No,
what
that's
you're,
what you're
I'm
supposed
sorry,
to
that's what
take,
you're
yeah.
supposed to take in.
Yeah.
My bad. So you're supposed to take in that
Yeah.
amount. But the average American actually takes in 3,500 calories per day. But
So no wonder
it's so
you're
easy,
gaining.
you have a hamburger and fries and a shake. That's 3,000 calories.
Well, no,
You really have to track your food a
You
little
have
bit.
to-
That's the only way you'll learn how to control
Yeah.
your calories is to know what's in something.
Yeah, but I'm just
Because
trying
a
to.
bagel's almost 300 calories. I mean, you can eat a bagel in 5 minutes, and you have to jog for 30 minutes to get rid of that 300 calories.
Yeah, but I just mean the sense of getting used to cooking.
Cook-
Well, he's
yeah.
just talking.
You're
about
talking
Yeah.
two different things. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but so getting used to cooking. But I think on your point, Dad, there's a great app called MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
It's free. But even just tracking calories for 2 weeks, just try to get a general sense of what different things are, and then how much you have to understand if you never know anything, how many calories are in different things or how much protein's in stuff, and you have completely no idea, it's going to make a huge difference because you might think you're eating a lot less, but if you're not tracking it, you're probably eating a lot more If you're not losing weight, you're eating too many
You
calories.
gotta count the BLTs too. The bites, the licks, and the tastes. 'Cause
But I'm
What?
trying to.
moms will do that. You nibble here, you nibble there.
Mhm.
And remember when we did Beachbody, and that one time we went to that one Italian restaurant that we never go to anymore because it's loaded with calories.
Okay.
That we love, Olive Garden.
But that's
So,
what I was gonna say.
Just for grins, we put everything into the
FitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal, and it was mind-boggling how many calories we ate.
I mean, that's why I was trying to do this podcast beneficial for at least just maybe you don't know about MyFitnessPal, but you have to try it. I mean, we went to Olive Garden, just the salad alone was unbelievable how many calories it is. And you think it's healthy, it's 1,000 calories to have salad there, but I remember going to like a Red Robin's, or we went to a Fridays one time, and we looked up. They have in MyFitnessPal, you can find a Fridays burger or whatever it is. You can look it up, and it's incredible. These meals are like 1,500, 2,000 calories, and you don't even pay attention to it because when there's not calories in front of you, you'll eat whatever you want, and you don't think it's a big deal. So you should try it just for the fun of it.
40 tablespoons.
That's another huge one of people who drink calories. You're getting so say you drink a pop, like a standard pop, that's gonna have like 200 calories in it.
But it's the sugar.
But 200 calories. That hasn't filled you.
Right.
That hasn't filled you up. I mean, the sugar is terrible too. Yeah. But say you drink 200 calories on the pop, you haven't gained anything from that. Your body got no nutritional value from that. It doesn't fill you up at all, and you've just wasted 200 calories.
Well, you can do that like Starbucks.
You can do good all day. You can do really good all day, and then you go at nighttime. You have some ice cream. You have dessert. Coffee. I mean, that'll rack up to 600, 700 calories or more that you didn't even. That you just is extra on your day.
Well, that's why
you can build it in. You have to build it into your diet.
But that's the biggest thing. You have to start by if you know nothing about any calories, just start paying attention.
Yeah.
I think some menus do restaurants, but most restaurants they don't list the macros, they don't list the calories, and they don't tell you how much sugars and stuff. They don't want people probably to see that.
Try doing MyFitnessPal for a week just for grins.
You should.
But even just start looking up average things. Start reading.
Or just look
labels.
at the product, the nutrition label.
Yeah.
It had like those little Hershey candy things. I used to eat them like nothing. And they were like, I saw they were 50 calories, and I'd have like 10 of them at a time.
Yeah, you don't
even
know.
Didn't even know 50
I think
calories.
they're small, yeah.
But I think that's a huge thing for people. They're like, why am I not losing weight and different things like
You're
that?
not in a calorie deficit.
Yeah, if you're not in a calorie deficit, a caloric deficit.
And that's the bottom line. It's calories in, calories out.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why people get this false sense too of like, doesn't matter how much you work. It's not that you need to work out usually more. Even you, just by walking around every day, you're burning a decent amount of calories, and your body just by being alive burns calories.
And you had to find out what your and that's when Casey went to school for this, and she said it's not always online. There's an actual like equation to figure out like your height, your height, your age, this like how many calories do you need to be taking to maintain where you're at now. Yeah, and
so MyFitnessPal will do that for you. So it's a really good app to do it.
But you can Google how to figure out that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a free. It's just a free app. That's by far the best one because it's just completely.
And if you want to pay extra money, if you want to pay extra money for the MyFitnessPal, you can get your macros.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by MyFitnessPal.
No.
We've used it.
We've used it a lot of times.
It's just I just always I don't.
You would accept it.
Like I just know now, like if I need like for me, I need to get enough calories. So if I'm training a ton, like I need to get. What's hard for me is getting 3,000 plus calories. That's actually like nutritionally valuable food. So no, but
You're right. It's really dense.
No, but I want like not even fast food, but.
Like when we make dinner, I'll have a normal size bowl, and he'll have 4 times.
No, like
that.
so I know like if I eat a banana, that's 100 calories. So I have to eat calories so I can be fueled for my workouts. But it's the same exact principle. Like if I don't pay attention how much, I won't hit my goals because it's really hard to eat enough calories. You'll see, especially if you're trying to go up to 3,000. If you're eating fruits and vegetables and whole foods, you get way more full. You can get a freaking milkshake and it'll be 1,500 calories, but that's not really doing much. You're getting 1,500 calories, but it's not nearly as valuable as other calories. Not all calories.
Beans and legumes.
Not all calories are created equally. So
whole grains.
Yeah, and then the Whole Foods, you get fuller faster on those. So like 2 tablespoons of olive oil is 200 calories, but 2 cups of vegetables is 200 calories, and you're gonna fill up that on the vegetables.
When there's satiety, right? Satiety
Satiation.
Yes, satiation.
Yeah.
So there's different, like the glycemic index. There's different foods ranked differently on the glycemic index.
I know. So if anybody's still actually watching this, so we would say 80-20 rule. Try to
find your
eat.
So
and I would try MyFitnessPal. Is a great thing to try, and that's something very practical. You'll learn. After you use MyFitnessPal for a little bit, you don't even have to use it anymore because you'll know when you go out to dinner or you get some in the store, you'll know what those calories are, and you can put it together in your head. Try it. Sometimes I try to leave a little bit of my meal, even though because they give you so much food at dinners or
eat slow.
Yeah, so eat slow. Yeah, it takes time for your brain to register your food in your abdomen. So if you can wait 10 or 15 minutes to finish your meal, you'll get fuller.
You get full faster. If you eat too fast, then it takes a while to, your brain is like, oh wait, now
Yeah.
I'm so full.
I think drink. A lot of people don't drink nearly enough water. I think drinking a lot of water helps
Super
a
important.
lot too, because it keeps everything flushed out of your body, and our bodies are 80% plus water or so.
And find a friend to work out with and hold you accountable.
Yeah. So I think what we can do to end this up, I think challenge everyone to come up with one new thing you want to do that you've not done before, or you've been wanting to do, or just one new activity, something that might be a little uncomfortable, but set a goal to just do that thing. And why don't let's all go around and what do you? So you're here now. You're excited by that. Say even if it's a year out, or just or do something even if you have a goal for a year out, do something actionable within as soon as possible. Force yourself to do something.
I mean, my tip from today's thing would be to try to set a goal. Yeah, whether it be you want to lose weight, or you want to run a 5K, or you want to get healthy,
Fit clothes,
but
fit
do
better,
something.
lower your blood pressure.
Yeah, but something concrete,
Blood
like
pressure.
get a schedule down. Do something concrete that you can.
So what's yours?
Huh?
What's yours?
I have fire. I haven't tried a half Ironman again.
But you want to commit to something?
When?
I can commit to. I don't know.
But what's something? Okay, so you say you want. But like, let's.
Next
I'll go
summer.
next. But so say you want to do a half Ironman.
Wow, it's frustrating.
Even if you're thinking about doing a half Ironman, what's something you can do when we get back from Chattanooga?
we can sign up for an Ironman.
No, not even
But
that.
for me,
What's
that's
something?
what-
But what's something to even get yourself? Forget all that.
Are you going to walk every
It's
day?
like thinking what I'm thinking.
When we get
no,
home,
I'm saying
what
so.
do?
What we just talked about this entire episode. What's something that would get you that would make it more likely that ends up happening? Not that. So, but for
I'm
example.
missing this.
So, for example, when we got back on Monday or on Tuesday, you could just go walk for 20 minutes and try to run for like 3 of those minutes.
Yeah, well, I can.
But no, you
You
can't do
gotta
that.
set a goal.
I'm saying
I just said that. I said that. Set a goal.
No, oh goddamn.
I'm missing this.
What he's saying is.
All right, so I'll do mine first. So
Okay.
something
Example.
that I want to do, and now I'm gonna have more time once I'm done with this Ironman. Something I've wanted to do for several years. I want to eventually climb mountains. But so there's a newer climbing gym in Toledo. So my goal is when I get back is to just go to that climbing gym called avoidance in Toledo and just do one climbing session there and figure out how to work my way up many years down the line to get to the point where I can climb like Mount Kilimanjaro. So that would be my goal. And how am I what's my specific step to do when I get back?
Go to the rock
It's
climbing
go to
place.
and just do one class there.
Good job.
So now now do you see how I'm saying, you're saying you're excited
I
about
have
it?
a different way of doing things.
Okay, Madison, have
I'll
her do
just-
it next.
Do not get, so I'm saying, don't just say you have a goal of doing the half.
How did I ever do my Ironman without you?
You missed it completely. Okay.
I do.
Madison, you're next.
After we all go,
We're
maybe.
gonna
Okay.
ignore you.
All right. I don't know what you
He doesn't comprehend me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the gym with my best friend. I don't know.
When?
I want to
Which
stay
day?
skinny.
Once this next week?
Yeah, I mean that's what we do.
Okay.
Well, that's not something
Do
new.
you have a
then.
goal? Do
What's-
you have
Do I have a goal? I want to look cute on the cruise. I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
There
Okay.
we
So
go.
what? So what's?
toned? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we keep going to the gym. I don't know. We're gonna keep making healthy meals. I don't know.
Okay. That's not really. I was trying to say.
Do I have
that's
anything new? No, I don't have. I guess I could start running again.
Well, no, you know
Want
what?
to?
What is there anything new that you wanted to try or do? I know you did like a yoga class there, and then is there any or not really?
No, I got no interest. No,
Okay, well,
not for that. No.
Okay, well, I have a cracked sacrum, a hairline fracture in my sacrum. So I've been using that as an excuse
So
because
what's
I
your-
was told not to do anything for 3 to 6 months. I'm going to try to start walking 3 times a week for 20 minutes. And I'm going to try to work out twice a week, just, what do you call it? Body weight type
it doesn't have to be
exercises.
fitness related.
Wait, what? We can have other goals?
You can have any goal you want. in life.
Oh, I know
But mine
that.
always
But I thought you were
revolves-
talking
if you
about
want
this.
to read, if you want to say
Mine
you want to
always
read more, you
revolves
can.
around fitness because I'm losing
Well, your
my
goal,
balance.
your goal right now is to lower your blood pressure, is it not?
Yeah, and I haven't been doing very good.
So
with
what's one item? What's one action you could take next week to get you more in the?
it. Walk
we
3
talked.
times a week.
Okay, because what I'm trying to say is they give examples to people. So we
I'm
talked
gonna
very
walk
beginning.
3 times a week
Okay.
for 20 minutes to try to get a little more physical activity. I could to do something with my diet, but what?
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like at the beginning, we kept talking about how do you get started with something.
One vegetarian meal per week. That's healthy.
That's a good.
Well, no, you just do something.
That's
One
a
No
good.
matter what it is,
vegetarian,
you try to do it
You
every
know,
day.
no meat dinner a week. So
That's a good one.
whole
Yeah.
food.
That's a good start right there. So.
And walk 3 times a week.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think it's easy to talk about stuff, and we're just sitting here talking about it. But then it's much harder to actually kind of then do it. So I'd love to hear if you guys had stuff, and maybe that's something again with the community. You know, if you other people that have goals, you know, list them out even in the comments or reply to other people's goals. And
We
be
should have a
encouraging.
Facebook group.
Oh, a support group. How cute is
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, we could set up a Facebook group.
But it'd have to be like private, and you'd have to be accepted in.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's what you guys
That
would
would be
do.
cool if we did. I wonder. That'd be
You can
good.
do the
You guys
questions.
comment if anybody be interested. We did a Facebook
A private support group.
support
Facebook.
group, and then people give out their goals and their whys, and we try
Or
to
we
support each
have a
other.
universal challenge
Yeah.
or whatever.
That works. I've had that before. I've done that.
Yeah, I think Facebook would probably be the easiest place.
Yeah.
But if you have different suggestions where we can just do like a free private group.
Let us know which you would like.
Oh, you guys should start a Patreon.
What?
Nothing. Never mind. A
But
Patreon.
because I know you
I
do
don't
the
know
private
what that is.
Facebook groups just like you do in like high school with like friends with stuff. So yeah, that'd be a good one because then we could just have people in that want
It's
to.
community.
Yeah, and then so you don't get all the spam, so you don't make it public.
Yeah, you have to ask questions like, how did you hear about it? Like, why do you want to be in it? What's your goal? And what
You
3
have
steps
to
are you going to
agree
take?
not to try to solicit people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just a mutual thing of self improvement.
So be sure to wish Kevin good luck. It's this Sunday. Today's Friday. It's a big deal. An Ironman's a big event, and your life takes over a full year of training to do. It's a 2.4 mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, which I'll tell you is a long bike ride. And then after that, you get to do a full marathon. Usually finish at nighttime. You know, anywhere between 8 or 10 for the average person. And then you recover
And
the
then you
next
can
day.
hardly walk in your
You
shape.
can't have a phone or any headphones or anything, so I won't get any videos. But maybe at the end we'll get a video.
We'll
Yeah.
catch him
We'll do
going
something.
by.
We're definitely going to document it somehow.
We'll catch him going by. We'll
They
get a
can show you
picture.
what it's like to be a support crew because it is long for a support team too. My mom came with me to my half Ironman 4 years ago, and it's
I was tired. Needed to drive home at night because I was
But
tired.
it is exhausting too. But I mean, I appreciate you guys being here. It's always nice to have support and yeah. So
Yeah, you guys need your own support group at home.
Yeah.
but I know we talked about a lot. That's all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's just us kind of sharing our thoughts and us trying to improve our lives too, to do things. So hope everyone has a great day.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye.